morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning is on two outstanding organizations that are dedicated to identifying problems facing our community and working to find a solution. My first guest serves as the president of the Milwaukee Chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Milwaukee has one of the oldest branches in the nation, and I am happy to be joined by Mr. Fred Royal. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and I'm glad to have you here today because there's quite a bit going on. Of course, the mission of the NAACP is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of all persons to eliminate race-based discrimination. So with everything that's going on in our country these days, I'm thinking that the mission is just as important today as it was 96 years ago when the Milwaukee chapter was launched. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of similarities of what's going on now and why the national organization was formed back in 1909.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's kind of like a full circle moment. And maybe it feels that way for me because I was not around during the civil rights movement. But if you study the civil rights movement and everything that was happening, when you look at police brutality and voter suppression and all of these different things, it almost feels like we took about 50 steps back.
Absolutely. And when I was alluding to the foundation or formation of the NAACP, it was because of an incident of over 100 individuals being hung in 1918. And that following 1919, there was two gentlemen who were accused of rape by a white woman. And one of the gentlemen was hung in Springfield, Illinois, which became the Springfield riots. And people had just got so outraged that they decided to form this organization to ban lynching in America. And as we saw with the execution of George Floyd this year, when a law enforcement officer knelt on this man's neck for 9 minutes and 28 seconds, and he was killed in public, it brought back the same type of sentiment. There was a global protest for police brutality that has been going on in this country for years, which Colin Kaepernick had highlighted back in 2015 when he took a knee. And folks said that he was wrong for doing so, for bringing attention to this very important issue. And here we are today having discussions with the Milwaukee Police Department to address this very concern.
So I am interested in knowing, because of the background of the NAACP and the role that you've played in this community for many years, has there been any conversation between Milwaukee Police on reform and accountability as they, again, approach the subject matter of community relations and the police department?
So if you recall, back in 2016, Chief Flynn at the time had requested a Department of Justice to come in and do a collaborative review, a voluntary review of the Milwaukee Police Department. The Department of Justice came in and had conducted that review, and the final draft was never released because Jeff Sessions took office, and the Obama administration was adverse to community-oriented policing, any type of reform in policing in this country. Fortunately for us, a draft of that report was leaked to the Journal Sentinel. Mm-hmm. And the Common Council within President Asante Hamilton assembled a group of community activists to get the community's voice on what they felt was the solution to the recommendations of that document. In 2018, we produced a final draft that gave the community voice, which MPD was included, because we feel they are part of the community. And there were several solutions that were recommended by the community, one of them being community-oriented policing. We have now become a formal counsel because of the Collins versus MPD excessive stop lawsuit settlement. And we have been engaged in co-creating a standard operating procedure for Milwaukee Police Department to operate under community-oriented policing as the overarching theory, no matter who the chief of police is.
Okay, and so with them working towards naming a new police chief in December, do you see this as a new opportunity to approach community police relations?
Well, absolutely. See, I think part of the qualifications for the new chief should be, one, his familiarity with the Barack Obama's 21st Century Task Force on Police Reform that was conducted after Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson, Missouri. That document came forth and had said there's a new type of policing model that needs to be in place because policing in the United States is not working. And at the heart of that was going to transform the model of a warrior police officer to a guardian. And not saying that they take away any of the policing authority. It just says that you have more procedural justice. You treat people fairly, regardless of race, socioeconomic status, where they live. And you focus on the criminogenic behavior versus just giving out fines, tickets, and arrests.
Okay, so you did mention the murder of George Floyd, and then there's also the situation with Breonna Taylor, along with so many others. They have become a symbol of racial injustice in our country. So talk about the movement where we see people of all races, backgrounds, and ages who have come together in peaceful protesting to see change, and hopefully for once and for all.
Well, and that's why I alluded to the 21st century police model.
Mm-hmm.
It's had 5 years since it was released for best practices to be generated nationwide. So when I listen to our activists, and I think there's a space for everybody in this movement, and they say, we want justice. We want this officer fired, or we want this officer charged. But charging an officer, wearing body-worn cameras, having cultural sensitivity training isn't going to change the culture of law enforcement. And to bring justice, we have to talk about changing the culture within law enforcement. As we see law enforcement going further and further to a militaristic style, we have to fight that and ensure that we bring them back to this guardian mentality instead of a warrior mentality.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. So we know the pandemic has caused a number of events to be canceled, postponed, or even have to go virtual. And with that said, the NAACP's Milwaukee Chapter will be holding your Freedom Fund dinner virtually this year. So if you would tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a unique challenge for us, but we've engaged with No Studios, who is very familiar with streaming production. So I think that we'll be able to pull off a successful event virtually. We have Reggie Jackson as one of our main speakers, and also David Crowley as our keynote speakers, both bringing perspectives about the opportunities that are here for improvement in the African-American community, and then David Crowley will bring forth his vision for bringing those opportunities to improving the the African American community on a countywide level. And then also we'll have some clips from Black Lens. You know, the film festival is about to start, and Dante McFadden and Gerard Blanks are once again doing their phenomenal job of bringing Black movie producers and movies to the city. So we're going to be highlighting some of that also, as well as our usual host of dignitaries to bring greetings and welcomes to the citizens of Milwaukee.
And so how many years has the Freedom Fund Dinner been going on now?
Oh, well over 90.
Wow, 90 years. So when people normally come together face to face, and now this year virtually, the goal of the Freedom Fund Dinner each time that it's presented is what?
That's our main fundraising event. That's how we keep the doors open. I've never believed in programming, because once you receive programming dollars, then you're beholden to your funder. And there may be issues that we don't align with. And I feel that if we're not honest to our mission, especially in light of the documents that Mark Levine produces that talks about the disparities, the social and economic disparities in the city of Milwaukee that have been persistent over 40 years, I have to have that flexibility to be able to call you out if you're wrong.
And the Freedom Fund Dinner is actually scheduled for Friday, October 23rd. I'm guessing people can still take part, right?
Absolutely. All you have to do is visit our site, NAACPMKE.org, and click on the banner for the 2020 Freedom Fund Dinner, and it will proceed and show you how to get your tickets. And the tickets are $50 this year, and a portion of that goes towards your membership.
Okay, so the theme is hashtag We Are Done Dying, which I think is very powerful. So I'm hoping that people are interested in being able to zoom in, so to speak, to really be informed with what the NAACP has to say about everything that's going on, the keynote speakers, and where we go from here. So it's very important to mention that early voting in Milwaukee begins on October 20th, and of course, Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd. The NAACP Milwaukee Chapter has scheduled a 2020 virtual candidate debate, and that's happening Thursday, October 22nd. Fill us in on that, please.
So we're having a meeting on that this evening. That'll be the Wednesday prior to this airing, to actually see where we want to go with that. There's been a little controversy about it because of the political action chair. But, you know, I think that with some communication and some collaboration, that we can pull off a successful event. I've moderated.
And this is a 3-hour event from 6 until 9, and people will be able. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you were speaking. Go ahead.
I was saying people will actually be able to tune in by going to NAACPMKE.org, Facebook, and Twitter. And you do have a number of candidates who are vying for these particular political positions on the north and northwest sides of Milwaukee.
Correct.
Okay, so you've got State Assembly, State Senate, and the U.S. House of Representatives, so they can get all the details on your website. And is there anything else that you wanted to share with us as we wrap up our conversation today?
No, I think the other piece of that We're Done Dying is that the pandemic has definitely showed the disparities in the access and the quality of healthcare that is being offered to African Americans. And we have to talk about the disparities in healthcare in the United States. That has to be a real conversation that has to happen.
Yes, well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing such important information. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yes,
Be
sir.
safe.
You too. Fred Royal is the president of the Milwaukee Chapter NAACP. Again, you can go to their website at naacpmke.org to find out more about anything that we have discussed today. And when we return to our Issues Milwaukee, we'll switch gears and find out more about Common Ground, which is a nonpartisan group of everyday citizens dedicated to making a difference. We'll do that right after this.